Hello, everyone.
Hey, Suji. Hi, everyone. So great to have all of you with us today. I'm pretty sure that after the surprising week for Mask, actually, in terms of price action and everything else, I'm sure that you guys might have a lot of interesting questions for us, and we would love to actually answer them. So, first of all, we have actually invited Isu, who is our CTO, and Suji, who is our founder and CEO, to be the main stars of the show. Now, that's so we have decided to actually divide the town hall into three sections. First section is really answer about is giving answers to pre-collected questions about mask in the past month or so. And the second part is going to invite guests, and we'll have some really interesting, really interesting discussions about what's been happening in the metaverse, in the NFT market, in DeFi, and actually, outside of crypto as well. And last but not least, it's just a time for free Q&A. So let the ideas flow. All right, so let's get started. So the first question is, you know, the first question is really about Mask and Blue Sky. So a community member asked, "Hey, Mask just engaged in Blue Sky development. Can you tell us what contribution Mask has given to the Blue Sky development?"
Um, yeah, so before we go into tech details, probably Isa can provide more for those people who don't really know what is Blue Sky and what is the background. Here's the brief intro. So Blue Sky is initiated by the Twitter and Square founder and also currently CEO and CEO of Twitter and Square, Jack Dorsey. He's quite famous for bullish in crypto, right? And in late 2019, um, in 2 years ago, around 2 years ago, he announced a plan called Blue Sky, which is aimed to build this thing called social protocol. And we all know that Bitcoin is a money protocol, right? No matter you think it's an e-cash or digital gold, it's a money protocol. And Ethereum is a more interesting protocol with the smart contract, whatever. And ideally, after the controversial with President Donald Trump and all these like controversial thing about the social network Twitter, and about and also after years of debate with its stock price, and Jack decides to announce and launch this thing called Blue Sky. Uh, this is a sub organization, but running independently outside Twitter, but mostly funded and supported by the Twitter core team, C-level guys, and Twitter company. And that's been 2 years ago, right? And in last year, they wrote a report by mainly contributed by Jay, and we also contribute a little bit to that report. It's mainly an educational report for the landscape of decentralization, especially for the social network. It discussed the existing decentralized social network, existing decentralized protocols, existing experiments. Some of them are probably familiar by you guys, like Ethereum, Bitcoin, Lightning Network, DeFi, NFT. Some are not really that familiar, like Mastodon, which is the federated social network, which a lot of people call it Fediverse. It's, in my opinion, it's just part of the metaverse, right? The Fediverse is also bring to the topic. There's many other protocols related to decentralized social network. And last week, I think around 10 days ago, Joe Darcy announced the first group of founding member of the Blue Sky organization, right? And there's a list of community member besides Twitter, the IPO large giant there. Well, though probably it's pretty much very slow compared to other things moving around, but this is a really, really important step of Twitter and also like the mainstream social network. And we are one of the founding member. There's other founding member there's protocols recommended by them like IPFS, right? There's also like Mastodon, Federated Social Network. And in crypto world, there's also another project called Audio Coin. They're also part of the initiative. For more technical details, I'm probably going to leave to Isu, but this is the background, and we're one of the founding member. And I think Jack is also overseeing this, but obviously he's super busy with or his company, right? Yeah. So Isu, what's your experience with Blue Sky guys so far and Twitter guys? Yes.
Well, yeah, I guess Suji has mentioned the most part of the blue sky, and then it's how it works and that how it was initiated. So I was part of the blue sky community chat room. Like it was like a chat room for about like 40 people in there, which consisted of like the founders or the engineers in many like decentralized protocols, and then we were discussing the topics around the decentralized social networks or decentralized database or decentralized storage, etc., and everything around like decentralizations. And then in the community, we were trying to like just survey all the existing protocols that could be beneficial to the Blue Sky like project. And then so Mask is just one of the community members or the community projects, and then you guys can take a look at the I guess the URL is bluesky-community.net, and then you can take a look at all the projects there listed there, and then give them a try. And then so Blue Sky is more like a decentralized social network protocol or standard, but you won't probably see an entity or a let's say you won't see a demo very soon because Jay and the team are actually building a trying to build the very first design of this protocol, starting from identity and social graph. And then once they have something, I guess we could be the very first people or very first projects to touch the design and then give it a try in our project. So maybe in the near future, we can probably just test test it a little bit, and then we will let you guys know once we have it. I guess on that'll be all I want to
Yeah,
share
and
this time.
another very very common question. I think we've been asked in the previous Q&A in maybe Townhall, and being keep asking by the existing team member, like, what if the Twitter, I will I will ignore Mark Zuckerberg for now, but like, what if like Twitter don't like it? And certainly we're in direct conversation with Twitter guys, right? Including the bear boss and other people. This is something you can see from the public news. And there's another small question I've been asking by a lot of like other people, others like crypto and probably just newbie investor of crypto, and they're like asking why Jack is so bullish on the Bitcoin and not so familiar, like I mean, not so engaged with Ethereum or other like EVM compatible public chain with smart contract, right? This is actually not true. He's a big fan of Bitcoin, true. We have, as I say, we have direct conversation with his Twitter team. He's actually trying a lot of things, including like sell his first tweet as an NFT. And in the previous town hall, Send, which is a platform that actually monetized his first tweet as an NFT on the EVM compatible sidechain. CEO Cameron, he joined the last town hall, and we are actually one of the strategic investors of Send, and it's being integrated in the Max already. So this is actually not true. He's actually learning. So I mean, we can't control Jack Dorsey, right? So, but that's the case, and probably can answer a lot of related questions. So yeah, that's end of the Blue Sky and Twitter thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. I think if we can actually build on Blue Sky as well, that would be like just huge, in my opinion. Just following up on what is the current progress on Mask 2.0? Can you
Okay.
guys? Yeah, definitely. Would love to hear about that.
Oh yeah, yeah. I know that everybody is expecting this to be released, And then finally, I guess our ETA for Max 2.0 is next in the middle of next month. So we are still like doing the social DeFi or social fi events, and then right after that, we will be releasing that in no time. And then we are not just publishing the desktop version of Mask. We are also like publishing. We're bringing a brand new like Mask Network app to you guys, both on iOS and Android, so you guys can just feel the same way we are doing on the desktop or in the browsers. So just stay tuned, and then we will keep you guys updated. And since last time we had like around, I don't know, tens of or I don't know, 10 or 20 people sign up for the beta version of this, and then we will be releasing some beta versions to you guys very soon. The reason why we didn't release them was that we were busy merging different features into a single like app. So we have almost everything done, but we just need some time to merge them all together. So we develop different features and different components like by different engineers, and then if like something is missing, maybe the whole point or the whole app doesn't work. So we want to make sure that the one we bring to you guys is kind of like complete, and then you can just do everything you want with Mask, not just some missing parts or missing points in in the extension. So yeah, stay tuned and we will release them very soon. So yeah, that'll be end of this answer, I guess.
Thank
In
you.
case you guys are more interested in more details. Yeah, go ahead.
And I think everyone should actually download the Mask extension on Chrome or Safari. You will, and if you after you download it, and if you scroll down Twitter, I think right now there are more occurrences of essentially dApps in tweet that you can directly interact with. So I think as more and more people and projects use Mask, you're going to see more and more different dApps you can directly interact with, directly, mine, deposit, whatever, on Twitter. So that would be pretty cool.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, we give it a pretty cool name called Daplet, decentralized application or like decentralized applet or any name you can just name it. And we now know that Dap is something running in the it got a front end, right? Probably IPFS front end, a web page, and also get a lot of smart contract. But I mean, this front end was never run in the Web2 platform like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, whatever, right? Daplet is something very core in the mass network that you can actually use as what we been achieved. You can use Uniswap, you can use Order, like social file lines, 15 application in around our Polygon. There are other like sidechain or even layer one or like Arbitrum other chain like in the Twitter or YouTube maybe and Facebook. It can be everywhere, right?
Yeah.
And we've been asking around a question about the use case of Mask. Yeah, I mean, in the end, just think about this theorem. You have to burn ETH for the gas fee to run a smart contract. It'll be the same thing, but we won't be pushing on the that part. We still want to have a lot of growth about developer. I think
Right.
we've becoming one of the largest bounty provider on Gitcoin, if I remember correctly. So we actually invited Gitcoin co-founder later on, so you can
Oh, yeah.
do that. Yeah. All right. Yeah.
By the way, I've funded around 28 bounties on Gitcoin. I'm not sure if we are the largest in the world, but I'm pretty sure that we are largest in China. Yeah.
I think
But
the
yeah.
largest one in the world.
Yeah. Anyways.
I mean, Uni
Anyways.
only have around 10, so probably largest one on Gitcoin right now. Yeah. Yeah. Let's leave that
Uh,
to the Gitcoin co-founder. Yeah.
Right. And then also, what I want to share about Mass 2.0 is that in case some of you don't really know what Mass 2.0 is about, it's gonna be like there will be like three main features that we are releasing, but they won't be all about the features that you can directly see or use on our extension, but more like a future plan as a maybe like as our like 1 or 2 year plan. in the future. So the three main topics are, the first one is we are as you guys can see that we are building a third party DApp market that you can use on Twitter, directly on Twitter, like the ones we have provided in the past, like Red Packet or ITO, or even the collectibles that you can just see and the details of an NFT with the OpenSea link directly on Twitter, or some other like features. So we are trying to like grow this market or grow this ecosystem in our Max 2.0 era. And the second one will be a cross-chain or multi-chain like wallet that for now we only support like Ethereum, Matic, and or Polygon and BSC. But in the future, we are planning to integrate more like more blockchain projects, and then you guys can directly interact with those like smart contracts or with those chains within our wallet. You don't really have to install millions of different wallets other than MetaMask and the Mask. You can probably just use these two in the future. And then the third one will be about like identities. So we have been talking about identities and related stuff, um, especially in 2019. But in 2020, we focus on something more related to blockchains and then blockchain related dApps. But now we want to bring this back to you guys because actually, I think because like I was like browsing the questions you guys ask in for this town hall. So maybe some of you guys have already like noticed that we are pretty much like what Keybase was doing. So yeah, we pay a lot of attention to identities, and we want to like bring a better identity system to you guys for you to like use not just in the Web 3.0 era, which probably are just blockchain related projects, but also you can use them directly in your Web 2.0 platforms like Twitter, Facebook, and the other platforms. So yeah, um, we will release a bunch of like articles, or maybe one, and then on by the time you guys can just take a look in more details. And yeah, that'll be all for this question. Suji, do you want to elaborate more on this?
Yeah, I think on the question list, you guys mentioned Snowden, Edward Snowden, right? He's obviously a hero in many people's heart, and like speak about like his opinion of the privacy and Apple thing. I don't know whether you guys know Chris Manning. Chris Manning, she is like I think she's the same in the
No,
same
Chelsea
fight
Manning.
as Chelsea
That's
Manning.
her
Sorry,
name
Chelsea
now.
Manning.
Yeah.
Her name, yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, he and her right now. I mean, yeah.
She.
So
That's she.
she is she actually I think she just wrote something related with NIM, or probably it's still ongoing. Last month, we have I think 2 months ago this month, pretty much last month we have an announcement, a partnership with NIM Network, and last year 2020, if you follow our development or our like community events or like other events we co-host, you're probably going to see Nim co-founder and me and like Vitalik Buterin and like Radical Market founder, author. Um, we are all in a pretty good cool event in the Hangzhou, and we actually mentioned a lot of things about privacy and encryption and how the cryptography power will empower people. That's something we already been doing for years, right? Yeah, yeah. So I think that hope that answered the Snowden related question. Yeah, and yeah, I
Yeah.
think he'll probably aware of mass very soon, or probably already did that. But
Yeah. Hey, Suji, I think we should limit our answers to maybe like 5 minutes or so, because you're already 20
okay,
minutes,
yeah.
but only 2 questions got answered. Okay, let's get going.
Thank
Frank.
you very much. So let me just brought the next question. What about the market building in non-English or non-Chinese speaking countries? Or how about the international community? Outside of English and Chinese.
So I would just do a brief answer to this question. Yeah, we actually building that. I mean, if you take a look at our product, you can see there's translation in Japanese and Korean language. We do have an official, not really official, run by the community. But we have a lot of official people are in this group as well. Japanese group, the Korean group, and it's Vietnam group, Indian group, Russian speaking group. Um, Personally, I speak three, four language, but I don't really speak like all the different languages. So it's really rely on the community, and as the successful and as the previous example of Bitcoin Ethereum, eventually it's rely on the community, right? And we've been supporting this community as well, and probably going to get more grants and bounties for translation for running this community, and also promoting and evangelist about the mask and the Web3 revolution, right? Yeah, cool.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Suji. Now, okay, here's a very interesting question. So, Edward Snowden just brought attention to the privacy issues that Apple has. He's talking about the end-to-end encryption mechanism, and I think it's the same thing that Mask Network does. Can you elaborate on that?
Okay.
Yeah, I mean it's the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead if you want to. But
Yeah, I mean that's why I mentioned name and meaning, right? But this is technical, so I will leave to you. Yeah.
oh yeah. So yeah. In short, yeah, we have like um integrated the end-to-end encryption since day one of this project. Actually, end-to-end encryption is our core feature since day one by design. And what we want to try. So, in case you guys don't really know what end-to-end encryption is, it's basically pretty simple. That it's end-to-end encrypted. So basically, only you and the one you are talking to can see or can decrypt the text you are seeing, and then no one else can decrypt them but you guys. So let's get back to what Mask is doing. So basically, you can see a tweet, right? And then it's a encrypted tweet, and then it's encrypted by key. So basically, in the traditional like end-to-end encryption, like or the messengers, each like message is like encrypted by your private key and my public key, or vice versa. But yeah, I know this. Sorry, but this is gonna get pretty technical. I don't really want to get into the details. But yeah, maybe I won't cover that in details. But I just want you guys to know that your data is only like controlled. It can only be controlled by you and yourself only. And then you can choose whom to share your content or your post with, and then no one else, even us, even we don't really have this like permission to do so. And then you can just like so like this is also another feature in Mass 2.0 that we will log all the encrypted posts you have like posted or you have created or you have tweeted, and then in a local DB inside of your Mask extension, and everything will be encrypted by your keys, not ours. And then you can like take a look at your history in your local computer, but nowhere else. So yeah, I mean like um, what we want to do or what we want to achieve is that you can take control over your data, and by you yourself only, not by any other platforms like Twitter or Facebook or any centralized platforms. And that's our goal since day one, and will always be our goal to you guys. So yeah, I guess that'll be the answer.
Oh, by the way, I just sent like because it's related to Snowden, right? So I just sent Manning's Wikipedia in the Chinese group. Probably gonna we can share that later on in Twitter as well. Yeah,
Okay.
it's a pretty famous story. Yeah.
Awesome, thank you. Now, I think why don't we then go to the ecosystem part? Um, so the first question is it possible that for Mask to provide encryption and decryption services to other platforms through collaboration?
I think we've already done that to like Twitter, Facebook, and eventually everywhere. Um, I'm not sure about YouTube, but even for videos, there's a way to lock it and like do paywall, crypto paywall, and for Instagram, probably every post you post on Instagram will become an NFT, and then there's nothing Facebook can do about it, right? So I think it will be universal service for everyone and everywhere. Yeah.
And then also, we actually in Max 2.0 we have Minds.com integrated. That you guys, so Minds.com is a American-based social media, and then I guess they have like over 1 million users. I guess can't remember that, Suji, but yeah. Anyways, it's a social media, and
I
then
think I think over 4 million. Yeah.
okay, never mind. It's a millions of users, and then yeah. So we funded a bunny like a month ago, to have max over like to have mask extension on mice.com, and then this has already been integrated by a community member, and then we will release that in Max 2.0. So yeah, I mean we are also expecting to integrate more platforms like Reddit or even like on the Mastodon like Fediverse. But yeah, we just want to like leave this part to the community members so that we can like focus on building the or focus on building the infrastructure instead of these things. So yeah, you guys can expect more in the future, and maybe in the near future.
Awesome. Very exciting stuff. And I think the next question is even more exciting. It's about, the recent trends, actually. So, what about Mask's future development in NFT and gaming?
Okay. So I'll briefly answer this question and hope like don't take too long. Like we for investment, actually I'm going to describe later on, but we are actually helping granting creating bounty for NFT gaming and do strategic investment in all these things. Like you guys all remember that last 2 weeks, we have a Twitter space with Axie co-founder Jihao and probably YGG as well. YGG did some investment with us on the SPS token, Spindle, and it's all this pretty experimental thing. But all these games are actually coming to us say, hey, what if we can just send NFT on Twitter, like your Axie battle with other Axie on Twitter? These are all ongoing. And some of them are not on the very public chain, so we have no way to integrate them right now. But for any public EVM compatible chain or even like chains like Flow or like other like related chain, we can definitely integrate and do the development. Uh, if you upgrade the mass extension to the latest one on the Chrome store, and then go to search Vitalik between Vitalik.eth actually, you're gonna see on his main profile page on Twitter, you can actually see an NFT reward there. We can also bring the functionality to verify your punk avatar is your punk avatar, and your penguin and avatar is your penguin avatar. This is all going to be done in next few within weeks. And the interesting part again, some of them are not really done by us. A lot of them are actually done by the community, like the SocialFi thing, right? The SocialFi line is mostly actually done by several bounty hackers through the Gitcoin and other like bounty platform, and they don't really even provide their names. Still semi-anonymous. That's really amazing. For the NFT and gaming development, yes, it will be the same thing, right? And there's some not yet disclosed major news, but I think probably you're going to see that in the next 2 weeks about the gaming and NFT and metaverse. For what I can disclose, it's all ongoing, and upgrade your Mac extension and go to visit Vitalik Butrin's homepage, and you can see what he's doing on NFT. He got actually a lot of random gifts from other people on his his email address. Take a look, yeah.
Thank you. So let me just jump to the next question then. This is really interesting too. So Mask is funding RSS3. So the question is, why would we want to fund RSS3, and what kind of things do we want to achieve? With their help. Suji, why don't you answer that? This is a really cool
Yeah,
question.
so if you know the history of RSS without three, the RSS 1.0, 2.0, the current version, it's super related with social network, NFT, gaming, probably not so about gaming, but super related to the other thing we just mentioned. The original protocol, the one have massive adoption in called RSS and have like Google Reader, all these things backed is mainly I think halfly developed by the famous co-founder of Reddit, Aaron Schwartz, right? And very sadly, Aaron Schwartz he passed away. It's a tragedy. If you take a look of the documentary Internet's Envoy, you can know the history. It's very sad history, and the World Wide Web creator Tim Berners-Lee, he's also mentor of Aaron, and the existing Reddit team member and the co-founders are actually also a good friend of Aaron. The RSS was abandoned for many reasons by Google Reader and other like mainstream blog siting, even including Medium. And I think one of the reasons is don't really have a universal consensus, didn't adopt the Web3 revolution, and unfortunately, Aaron passed away years ago, right? And we are really happy to see someone is carrying that spread and doing the RSS3. This is RSS in the Web3 era. And RSS is all about creator economy and about content creation, about distributing the content to the right people in the right method in a quite decentralized way. And Twitter was actually, Twitter is actually definitely largely, influenced by the RSS idea in its early days. And by supporting RSS3, it's a quite strategic check. As I mentioned, this is something related with NFT. As we've done the investment to send, every tweet can become an NFT, every Instagram post can become an NFT, and you can actually subscribe and can do paywall, and you can do like all this thing like decentralized Patreon. There's many other experiments happening not only by RSS3 but other programs we granted, and they're doing a lot of development. Check out the GitHub, and there are other people's GitHub as well. It's all related. Yeah. Yeah.
And actually, one of the founders of our SS3 is right behind, right listening to our like town hall. Maybe we can invite him to speak later once all the questions got answered. But yeah, he just left.
Definitely.
Yeah, I don't know why.
He'll come back later.
You come back. Yeah.
All right.
Oh, R3 come back. Okay.
Yeah, let's invite him. Okay. Dude, who's behind the RSS3 Twitter right now?
I don't know.
Let's invite him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, he's waving. Wow, he's waving the hand. Let's invite him.
Let's see.
Okay, but okay. Maybe we can invite him to speak later.
Oh, hi guys.
Yeah, he's not. Hey guys, who are you?
Right now.
Glad to join you guys.
Hey.
Yeah, just heard.
So,
Yeah, the man spoke.
Definitely. All right, let me just quickly finish the questions asked from the community, and then we can jump more exciting. So, not to say the question section is not exciting. It's very exciting too. We care very much about what our communities are curious about. All right, so in terms of the next part of the question series will be about competitors. So as one of the earliest Web 3.0 projects, how is Mask going to stand among other Web 3.0 projects?
I mean, be very honest, I don't think we have competitors yet. There's other thing probably have done some of our functionality or like probably share the same idea, and we are very glad that we are not really alone, and there's people share our vision and work together with us like RSS3, and you probably send like other protocols we help invest, or like just friends. I mean, Gitcoin is also one of the good friend here, but I don't think there's something completely competing with that. It's too early to think about competition even in Web3 world. I mean, I know there's competition in your wallet, right? Definitely, MetaMask competing with probably Iron Token. There's other competing with the exchange, with DEXs. But okay, speak of like you can do all the things on Twitter, and we're also in Blue Sky, and um, as mentioned, Reddit thing is also related, and the current Reddit team is also learning about blockchain. So if you put all this together, and I'm probably going to come to YouTube, and Instagram as well. I don't think there's any direct competition. There's no competitor yet. We've been the project is initiated. The team is gathered around late 2017, and the project is initiated in 2018, and we have the first version released in 2019. It's been a while. I don't think there's any direct competition or like other people trying to really understand what we're trying to do. Yeah, be honest. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. To be honest, we don't really want to compete with anybody else. We just want to be friends, and then we want to build a great ecosystem that welcomes everybody to join. And that, I guess, that's the point of decentralization. There's no like centralized like platform or centralized or authority that controls everything. So we want to build such a community like the one we are building, the third party on that market, that welcomes all the developers to join our task force instead of like competing with us. What's the point of competing with us at all, right? We don't really steal their money. We just want to provide a better like place or better like infrastructure for them to interact with their users, or even to try to like help them attract users. So I don't think there's any point to compete with us. I mean, like, yeah, that's why we are funding a lot of projects, not just because we want to like destroy them, but instead we want to help them, and then we want to grow such a great ecosystem like RSS3. So yeah, that let's be concise on this. So yeah, I'll leave the question to next, Frank.
So this is also a very insightful question. So many of Mask's functionalities are similar to those of Keybase, which has been around for a while. So do you consider them as a direct competitor or an inspiration? Also, do you have any plans to expand Mask's functionalities to cover other areas which hasn't been covered by apps such as Keybase yet?
Okay. So yeah, that's a great question. So yeah, so many of you have like already noticed that we are pretty much, well, in some ways we're like on Keybase, and yeah, I mean we never consider them as a direct competitor, but instead we treat them as an acceleration. So they have invented a lot of things that are like exciting and useful. For example, they could be the very first ones to try to like create such a social graph to connect one's digital identity with their like social media identities. By digital identity, I'm referring to their PGP key, which you guys may now know, but also they provide such a functionality that you can link your social media handles or your social media identities to your Bitcoin address, plus I can't remember, Litecoin address, and then that's a great functionality that but unfortunately they don't really support Ethereum, which I think could be the killer app to the market. But yeah, I don't know why they didn't do that, but we will definitely do that. And actually, we are actually doing that right now. And then I've
Yeah.
been thinking, yeah, I mean, I've been thinking about if we are about to host this like key server or some server or some service close to what Keybase are doing. But now I got things cleared that yeah, we are going to do that. We don't really want to copy paste another like Keybase there, but instead we want to adopt a better and more decentralized way, which Keybase has not done yet. So yeah, pretty much many of their services are still centralized who want to decentralize this with the power of decentralized storages and databases. And then we will release the details soon once we release Mass 2.0 because it's still under development.
Several points about Keybase. Personally, I'm a good, I'm a big fan and like using them for a while. But there's a lot of things I'm not really satisfied with the team and even with the Anderson Howard's the VC backing them, and unfortunately it caused it to fail. Like first, if you remember the exact time of Ethereum, I mean, like when we target fundraising for 500K in China with Wanshan and Fenbushi 2015, and that time Keybase raised around more than 10 million. Actually, pretty easy lead by Anderson Howard. It's before the A60 crypto fund. It's done by the Chris Dixon, right? He's now head of the crypto side, and it's a big deal in the encryption or cryptography related technology compared to the pretty small 500K Fimbushi and Hashkey, one shot deal in Ethereum, which is $1 per Ethereum. And we see the outcomes pretty different. Like Keybase is definitely failed. They're being acquired by Zoom, and Zoom refused. I mean, we've been personally, I've connection to Zoom executive level guys, and they've refused to open source the backend of Keybase. This is not really open source. This is actually halfway open source. It's not, if it's halfway open source, it's actually not open source at all, right? And if you're OG in crypto, you probably remember that they actually did a crazy airdrop of the Stellar token XLM. Pretty good, free money, but okay. I mean, Stellar. Okay, what is built on Stellar? Please, I mean, there's nothing there, right? And they are like integrate. They are good friend with Zcash, and Zcash, one of co-founder Andrew Miller, is my professor back in college, and like, okay, they don't have smart contract, privacy coin, cool, but there's no thing you can build on top of it, right? And they actually missed out the whole, not only the DeFi NFT, missed out the whole public blockchain sector, and they publicly admit their failure and by sell themselves to work for the Zoom, which is a great company, but this is not the goal we're aiming for, right? So that's something I'm personally not really satisfied about Keybase, and we definitely did not follow their step. I mean, we won't sell the mass network to Twitter. We're gonna just collaborate with Stradossi and other Twitter core team member in the blue sky, right? This is something I want to make sure being conveyed expressed very clear to our community. Yeah. All right. Yeah.
That's pretty awesome. Thank you very much, Suji, for the elaborate answer. Now let's go to the next question then. So can you briefly discuss the relationship between Mask Network and other Web3 projects? Maybe we can talk a little bit about essentially our ecosystem and why some of the friends and I suppose our portfolios, and what is the bigger picture for us investing in them.
So we will also probably, as I mentioned that as well in previous questions. I try to make it very short. And we will sell as a great middleware, or the like large middleware from the Web 2 and Web 3. Anything between the Web 2 and Web 3 is related with Mask, right? Because like without this network, you have no way to send your best NFT to a friend, buy and trade token, and like send Red Pocket, send money on Twitter, Facebook, whatever you want, right? And then there's something we're probably going to build on top of Mass Network, like RS3, Sand, all these things, probably, and probably something we're going to collaborate with, like Gitcoin, the DeFi, the social file alliance, 15 guys there, and that's the relationship. And there's something we're relying on as well, right? Public blockchain like Ethereum and EVM compatible chain and other related chains. That's something we're relying on. We're probably not going to do our chain, and we're just going to use them and empower them and bring that to massive adoption. Like now, I think our DAU is pretty high compared to anything in the crypto related world. So yeah, that's the relation between us and other Web3 related project. we're not competitors, we're partners, and we're also empowering the public blockchain on the day. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I think we're almost done. Just a little bit more. So so this is a very interesting question. So any exciting news about the Singapore meeting from Suji?
Some of them actually confidential. Yeah, I met one of the I think one or two. Actually, I'm not good at recognize the title. I think I met one or two minister of Singapore. There's actually 5, 6 minister of Singapore. I mean, he's the one under the prime minister, right? And someone last name is Lee something, right? Or Lee something. And I met Vitalik again. It's been a while since last time I met him. Like MSEZ and other people. There's a closed door conference. I believe there's actually screenshot around because there's other people hearing the conference online. Yeah, I met like all these, minister, and Singapore is very bullish on the cryptocurrency and Web3 revolution, and a lot of interest from their state-owned investment arm about generally about those Web3 tokens and including Bitcoin, Ethereum. For that part, I can't disclose like what they're doing these days, right? Because it's quite confidential. But yeah, I mean all these people, this public information, yeah. Yeah, it's pretty exciting, and it's good to meet like Vitalik again. This is my first time meeting CZ, so yeah, face to face. Yeah, I mean, yeah. All right.
Thank you. So let's talk about the token. So the first question: how are you going to improve token liquidity? I can answer that straight away by increasing the price. More higher price, more liquidity.
Honestly, I think there's. I mean, because we can't control the central exchange, right? I think we're listed everywhere in the major central exchange. For the DEX, there's actually extremely good liquidity there as well. We are on the or3, on the layer 1 and EVM compatible chain like BSC, Polygon. Arbitrum is our official partner, and they actually mention us in their website or somewhere else. And this ongoing deal with the VK Sync. Still, they don't have smart contract. Yeah, but so you're gonna have liquidity of mask everywhere. For central exchange, yeah, that's something we can control.
Awesome. And the next question is, how about cross-chain bridges for ERC-721 and ERC-1159 tokens? I suppose cross-chain for NFTs.
Well, I guess that'll. Well, I don't think we are the best person to answer this question because it largely depends on how these like NFT contract creators decide. I mean, we can help like build a cross chain like bridge, but I'm not sure if they are willing to do so. And then for now, I don't recall any projects that are on cross chain. Can you guys recall any? If so, we can definitely offer some help because we built our like cross chain bridge of ERC20 of like mask ourselves, so we can definitely do the same for the other projects. But yeah, to my best knowledge, I don't think they are willing to do so yet. Frank, do you have any projects that is in mind that has already done so?
So there are numerous cross-chain bridges for ERC 20, and I
Yeah,
feel
for
like
sure.
if you're just moving the assets, right, then
Mhm.
then those bridges can essentially move an NFT as well. But the main problem with all of the bridges right now, including Polygon bridge, is that they are not really that safe. So as long as in the bear market comes, and then when the assets, I suppose, that is locked in these bridges became significant, then I suppose there will be many more attacks that would follow. So I think that cross chain right now is still quite dangerous, in my opinion, and it's almost impossible to actually move the logic, the logic of essentially NFT smart contracts cross chain. So I suppose for projects want to be different chain, they have to build it they have to build smart contract from the scratch for each chain. So yeah, that's what I know about that.
Yeah, and the NFT probably was a lot, right? Some of the NFT don't really mean anything, but like just think about the Jet Darcy tweet, $3 million, right? Punk, well, that's actually huge as well. Like at least for any punk, it's 300K or even more. And I don't know about the Visa one, but it's actually rising a lot. And I know there's fractionalization protocol probably we're gonna support or help algorithm as well, but cross chain, this gonna actually it's going to be another issue for the industry to study these days. It won't be just really right now, especially for these pretty expensive NFT. You just don't want the cross chain or like $1 million token. This is one token worth $1 million, right? Yeah.
Definitely, yeah. I think for it's even more like NFT is even more valuable for a lot of the shitcoins. So that's definitely that's definitely an issue. Security is definitely an issue for this. All right, let's move on to the next question. So comparing with other social fi projects, how is Mask any different or unique? I think we have a pretty unique positioning. I mean, definitely. I feel like if you do some research, you would actually compare them apart. You would see that Mask is pretty unique in that aspect. Uh, but just if we use one sentence, I would just say like Mask essentially enables and empowers a lot of other social fi projects because Mask can provide them that accessibility to users as well as to crypto Twitter, as well as providing much better interactions with the users on Twitter. So yeah, definitely. Uh, and this is actually to Rachel. So from Good Ghosting. So maybe we will leave that to the next part. So one last question that the community has asked. So what I suppose we probably have to answer this kind of question every time. So what's the value behind your vision of the world, the community, and the network? This is pretty philosophical, metaphysical too. Please go ahead.
Can you pardon again? What's the
Yeah.
philosophy one?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So what's the value behind your vision of the world, the community, and the network? This.
What's the Yeah, I mean, in general, this is my personal opinion. I think, but also shared by a lot of people here. I mean, in general, I think the humankind, the Homo sapiens species, is moving from the physical world to the digital world, and in the physical world, we've struggled for around 2000 or probably more. Like since the very beginning, and when the Egyptian king or the guard was there, like when the Chinese emperor was there. I mean, since like 1,000 years ago, there's not treated people equally, and there's no democracy, and we fight like thousands of years to get that, and the Western world is actually definitely evolving in a much more fast speed, right? Because today Mark Zuckerberg is still monopoly king, but probably we won't have any king in 20 years, right? And the mysterious founder of Bitcoin is already disappeared. Pretty good thing, right? I think Vitalik he will step off very soon as well in years, right? So I think the lifetime goal, or probably the goal of mass network, and this part of the large goal is the in the end, the open web, the open society dream in the digital world, when every Homo sapien species, every humankind is actually transforming yourself into from the physical life being to a digital life being. This is something what I want to share, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I guess I can close out with pretty short answer. So yeah, we want to build a network that belongs to all the users. So yeah, that's pretty much what we have been doing the past, and then that's what we will be doing in the future for sure.
All right.
Yeah.
Great website. Also, okay, let's go to the next phase then. It's time for the guest chats. So RSS3, please. Are you here?
Yes. Hi, guys.
Yeah, we'd love to actually learn about what's going on your side.
Yeah, sure, that'd be great. It's really grateful to join you guys today as a guest. Especially we are already a part of the Mask network economy and ecosystem. So so currently we just closed this round of the founding, and we will mainly task on working on the distribute nodes in the next stage, and we will also reaching out with the whole creating economy system from creator to consumers. So there's like an in nodes like in ecosystem. So people can create and use artistry with the index.
And
Great.
let me, the rest of the guests as well.
Yeah. By the way,
Yeah.
Scott, is one of co-founder of Gitcoin. Yeah, Scott, we speak a lot of great things about Gitcoin. Yeah, you missed that, and I will invite them. I will invite you as well. And we also have Ethereum name service co-founder, right? Makoto-san. Makoto, he's also in the list. Let's invite him as well. Yeah, and as I mentioned, RSS3 is the great revisit of the dream of the RSS and content creation network. And yeah, Gitcoin from the name, it's it's huge, man. Because GitHub, Git is huge. Gitcoin, like Git in the Web3, huge, right?
Yeah, working Web3, I think that's a important concept for DAO as well, because DAOs needs to have tools to better organize us, I think. So we are trying to invite, let's see, Makoto and Scott. Let's see.
Hey everyone, I
think
literally just switched from the desktop version of Spaces is clearly MVP. I'm on my phone now. I didn't catch the last bit of that question though, CG. I'm sorry.
So I think Suji might be. I think he's out of battery actually. So let's wait like 1 minute or two for him to actually come up. But you know what? While we wait, Scott, why don't you tell the audience what's up with what's been happening at Gitcoin? Any exciting news over there, or any great I suppose great ideas coming out right now? And I think Scott has been disconnected or something. Let me invite them again. Hi, Makoto. How are you? Can you hear us?
Yeah, good. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you. So definitely happy to have you on board. I would love to actually, while we wait for Suji and Scott, why don't you tell us about what's been going on with ENS and any exciting news or maybe some new ideas to share with the community?
Yeah, sure. Like, I wasn't going to join the town hall, so I just paused a bit. But yeah, there's some development. One thing we actually did yesterday is that like ENS is known for the ETH name, but we do let people to claim ENS name for internet domain. So prime example is like a Argent.xyz. The wallet company has the internet domain, hence they can have ENS. We did actually deploy the new version, which allows more than 90% of internet domain to be able to claim ENS name. So
Oh wow.
yeah, so but we didn't announce because there's a little caveat that so this is one of the most technically complex smart contract in our ENS smart contract. ENS smart contract is relatively simple. It's just basically a glorified key value store or dictionary or like Terraform book. But this one has one specific way of being able to prove the ownership of the domain using the proof by retrieving the kind of proof from the internet domain data. And to make a proof is quite expensive. And we also have to do recursively. So if there's any TLD claiming for TLD, which never existed in ENS, you have to do for compute for that TLD as well. So yes, I think 2 days ago we just did bradleymilligan.com that was a fast.com domain, but that cost like 0.1 ETH to claim. So
Oh, wow.
it's quite expensive. And I was looking at other domains, and some of them cost like 0.4 ETH. But
Wow,
Nick,
that's
yeah,
amazing.
yeah, but Nick Johnson identified that there is some inefficiency in the code, so that we are going to make another change. So we might not publicly announce until that might be in place, but that should cut down the cost by half. But again, a bit disclaimer is like, so the difference with .is and the internet domain is like .eth, you have to pay like a $5 a year annual registration to prevent people from basically squatting. Whereas this internet domain, you already own the internet domain, you pay the registration to the DNS provider. So we have no reason to charge anything extra. So we don't charge anything. It's just like, yeah, gas cost is quite expensive. But it's kind of exciting that there are so many companies who wanted to use ENS name in the past, but because it's been squatted, they may not have had a good .eth name. For these, we can say that you can actually have the internet domain. So that's kind of latest.
Awesome.
Wow,
Thank you.
thanks for
And
sharing. Yeah, I want to add something here. So yeah, basically, I think ENS is one of the most important identity projects in this like domain. And then I happened to like join this Twitter space yesterday with the decentralized identities. So I guess someone from you guys, from someone from ENS spoke there, right? And then so basically what we are doing is pretty close to what you guys are doing, but broader like domain that we are not just focusing on Ethereum, but all the different blockchains, and we treat all of them as identities. So how do you think about integrating like the maybe different addresses from different blockchains into ENS? Say you can just find someone's like Bitcoin address from their ENS name. What do you think about it?
Yeah, so we do already have a multi-coin support that, as I mentioned, like ENS is just like a
Right,
like
right.
glorified phone book and all that stuff, and most people know store Ethereum address, but we do have a special field to put something called coin ID, which is defined in I think something called slip 44, and there's over 200 coins. So already, if you go to your own name, if you search your own name in the app ens.domains, you can see that your Ethereum address, which you did to register the name, is set as a default Ethereum address. But you can also see the
Okay.
field that you can put like BTC, Dodge, and pretty much, yeah, and like all the popular names. So you can set other coins. Then it comes down to wallet to support these. So something like that often I use as example is a Trust Wallet. They do actually
Mm-hmm.
support ENS domain. So you can, so like again, Brantley, I think Brantley dot is or Brantley Milligan dot is. He actually set like dozens of like Ethereum different coin address. So if you type Brantley dot is on Trust Wallet, if you want to send an ETH, you can resolve the same address, and if you want to send to a BTC address, uh, as long as the wallet supports and if the recipients have the name set, you can actually send with a single name.
Wow.
Did I answer your
Thanks.
question?
Thanks for sharing. Yeah,
Amazing.
I'm good. Thanks.
Hey, I have another question. Probably this is pretty large, and yeah, I mean, because we've been like hunting around, and we've seen this, and we have the master.xyz, both the centralized domain and the ENS. I think our plan we're trying to assign everyone on Twitter or Facebook a domain like Suji and .tw Twitter .mass.xyz or like something like that, right? Eventually, it's gonna be like the origin, but it's definitely not possible on layer one, right? For many reasons, the gas fee is super expensive. Do you have any plan on the layer two, or anything like, we can have like cheaper secondary domain, right? And then gonna assign for everyone, and also have like some cool functionality. Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly the topic. I gave a talk at Ethereum Community Camp in Paris about months ago. So if you probably Google Makoto ECC, you'll find a YouTube video. But the gist is that we are working on a protocol, well, not protocol, proposal called Durin, which is kind of generalized ways to retrieve the data from either like from outside of Ethereum L1. So it could either be layer 2, or it could either be like even off chain. That if you look at the protocol, the gist is that like a majority of the case, ENS names is used for the read-only operation. So we came up with a way of the kind of protocol that like if you say so okay, just step back. So there's a notion of things called resolver that like
Yeah.
when you look, like there's a, so basically we have something called registry, which is where it stores names, and instead of the registry holds a Ethereum address, we hold a address of smart contract called resolver, where it can define whatever the rule of how to return the resolve the name, and 99% of the time it resolve Ethereum address. But our idea is to extend, let people to basically upgrade their resolver. Currently, resolver anyone can upgrade to anything else, so you can write your own resolver to do whatever crazy thing, right? Then what we are going to extend is, rather than returning the same address, we are going to return a URL where the client library, like Ether.js or Web3.js, can further ask the question of like, hey, give me the data. And that URL is in charge, so that we call gateway service. Gateway service is in charge of taking the data from wherever possible. So in case we already have the prototype using Optimism, that we have a one web service, you get the data from Optimism. And one thing common about most of the so-called roll-up system is that because they secure the security of L2 and L1, there's most of the time they kind of batch and compress the data on L2 into L1's I think core data operation. And the majority of so-called roll-up operation has a mechanism to verify the state of L2 on L1. So what we ask on the gateway server is just give me the data, and we, as long as we have a smart resolver on L1 has a way to verify the state of L1 and 2 and data, you basically ask if gateway to get the data with approve, which you verify. By doing that, one of the use cases, so like resolver, not just in same address, you can now put like lots of random data, and if people want to put like Twitter, social address, or like even avatar is now getting very popular. And we're working on a proposal of the format to put the NFT, so that people can start sharing the avatar information stored on ENS. But the more data we try to put, updating resolver currently costs probably like $5 per transaction, for every record update and stuff. So you can't do it frequently. But by switching the resolver into L2, you can do it cost-effective way. That's one way of doing it. But like where we really want to get into is like the notion of subdomain, which is less used. But for example, wallet like Argent.xyz, they used to issue a subdomain to all their users. So they have thousands of people have subdomain names, which unfortunately they stopped because issuing subdomain costs too much gas. But if you, for example, Argent set the resolver into Optimism or any other layer 2, in theory, they can issue subdomain under the specific layer too, or with like almost no cost. So if by doing the dApps can almost issue subdomain as part of the username. So that's kind of long ago we are working on, and we do have again prototype for the Nick Johnson made the first prototype on Optimism in April, and he also created proposal for this generalized framework. And I'm now kind of halfway trying to port that prototype into using the framework right now.
All right.
Awesome.
By the way,
Sorry for the very, very long answer.
Yeah, we can.
No, definitely okay.
We can
something to add on
another call
yeah.
on.
Yeah, we can do another call. I mean, something to add on about Japan and Fediverse and Metaverse. I think you put that in the profile, right? Is we actually are one of the we're the maintainer of one of the largest Mastodon instance, mscdn.jp, and have a try. It's Fediverse, and I think we could definitely support ENS as one of the default DID of the Mastodon, right? Yeah, and thanks for Makoto and hey Scott, right? And let's bring Scott here, and Scott, wake up.
Awesome. This should be working now. The desktop
Okay.
version of Spaces
Yeah.
is a bit glitchy, but the mobile is pretty good. Yeah, glad to be here. I'm not sure how many people know about Bitcoin already. I'm always unsure of like what people know about Bitcoin already. I'm always unsure of like what people know about Bitcoin already. I'm always unsure of like what people know about Bitcoin already. I'm always unsure of like what people know about Bitcoin already. I'm always unsure of like what people know about Bitcoin already. I'm always unsure of like what people know about Bitcoin already. I'm always unsure of like what people know about Bitcoin already. I'm always unsure of like what people know about Bitcoin already. I'm always unsure of like what people know about Bitcoin already. I'm always unsure of like what people know about Bitcoin already. I'm always unsure of like what people know about Bitcoin already. I'm always unsure of like what
Hello, everyone. The centralized Twitter space just crashed, and
Twitter Spaces is not. I don't know if they're ready yet.
We all force quit, like force exit by the app, right? So it's Twitter space crashed. Yeah.
Twitter is not ready to like Spaces may have been launched too early in some ways. They're trying to get Spaces going.
Yeah, I think we lost half our guy because like they probably lost in the traffic, right? but Scott, please continue because we're in half of your Gitcoin small introduction. Yeah. Oh, we have more people here. Yeah.
Where did I leave off? Where did it cut off?
Yeah,
that's like
introducing
hard part to know.
About like you just speak 3 sentences about Gitcoin. Yeah.
Oh really? Okay, yeah. So I went for a while without but yeah, I mean like I guess the shorter TLDR is just that we're trying to, which is I mean I guess kind of funny in some ways, like we're trying to figure out ways to solve coordination problems in the context of public goods. Like how do we fund open source software? How do we fund other like things that may or may not be easy to fund from a like kind of even traditional corporation government level? Like I mean there's lots of these problems that extend beyond one given jurisdiction, and when that happens, like governments or other institutions are like very reluctant to like fund them in any meaningful way. So you end up like a lot of institutions that effectively just like opt out of funding open source software, opt out of like trying to deal with things like climate change or these broader like sort of like global problems. And ultimately, like we're, it's a lofty goal. We're not like going to solve all of that, but like we're trying to take slow steps in the Web3 context to start in terms of how we like coordinate around funding this shared infrastructure. And I was mentioning like, yeah, like ENS has supported us a lot in this and like has been a partner in this. And we're hoping that we can find ways to like broaden our support of public good with them in the future. So that's like really exciting to me as well. The kind of thing we've started to do, which I was like touching on, was we've now like kind of given that power over the main part of the platform, Gitcoin grants, to the community. So we've created a DAO. The DAO is governing how those categories for the rounds are formed, the amount of funding that goes into those different categories, and then just structuring like in general, like how we expand on this mission, because the kinds of things one group might consider, or one public for that matter might consider a public good, it might be very different from another, and we need to figure out ways to come to shared definitions and to like work on kind of like us, like as a community, as like Web3, a shared definition that like works well for all of us. And this is something Toby Shorin and the other internet team have written a lot about. They wrote this piece, Positive Sum Worlds, which talks about the idea that like, hey, we should think about like how we extend the idea of public goods and the things that people support beyond just things that affect a given token community. And that's something that like, I think they used like the example of Uniswap, but it's something that like in general, like we need to think about for projects in the space. And actually like as well, like Mask has recently donated to, we have a round coming up actually on September 8th. That's the 11th. So that means we've done 11 quarters of these like different funding rounds now, which is pretty wild. And yeah, Mask is supporting the next one, and has supported previous ones as well. So thank you again for that. That's amazing. And like, I'll pause there. Yeah, that's like already a lot. I'm not sure if any of that repeats from last time either, with the spaces stuff. But happy to start.
Yeah, I think
Continue
this
anywhere
time
from there.
everyone hear that. Yeah. And one thing to mention is that we have a quite large treasury, stablecoin, the mass token, and there's several unlocking, but we won't really use them for other like we have enough, the max style, the team have enough money for developing, and the reason we donate to Gitcoin and other like I think for now mostly Gitcoin, two tranche of mass token in the DAO is like I think this is one of the important things to fund public good and the long-term sustainability of a project to fully go decentralized, not only developed by like 10 or 20 in-house engineers, it should be developed by like 1,000 community member like Ethereum and Bitcoin did, right? And Linux did. And this is quite important. And we're going to announce the donation probably on our official Twitter account later on. And you can probably see Gitcoin retweet that later on as well. Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of important thing happening. And also ENS is registered or like maintained as a non-profit, right? It's also very important to keep it. And it's also very important for Mass to keep it neutral and to try to bring 1 billion people to Web3. All right, thanks Scott for everything here and for the amazing introduction about Gitcoin and our collaboration. And we're probably gonna also mention something about the SocialFi. And the SocialFi Alliance founders here as well, like Daniel, right? And other like Taylor. Taylor is in our ecosystem team. And please share a story about SocialFi, because we've definitely been over time to this time, but let's share the story in a very fast way and then tell our community what's happening in SocialFi. Yeah.
Please.
Sure. Oh, let me let me take on that. So going along the lines of what Scott just said, we actually started the whole thing because of partially because of Bitcoin. So about 2 or 3 months ago, we were in talk with the DHedge folks, including Daniel, who will be on the stage a little bit later. We were talking how can we collaborate, because we see the potential of having a eToro-like financial service right on top of Twitter, and DHedge has been the pioneer in the space for doing similar services. And the conclusion we had was to start a bounty, put it on Gitcoin, and back then I think it was the previous Open DeFi hackathon, and a couple of days later, someone took the bounty, and about 2 to 3 weeks down the road, the bounty was completed, and we had the applet, the DHedge applet integrated inside Mask. That was the DHedge V1, but I think that opens the Pandora box for us. So going along that line,
Pandora box is a bad word.
Wow, yeah, but used in a good way. I wrote like 5 or 6 more bounties that fits similar effects. So there was the put together, the savings plus lottery game, the good ghosting. The founder of Good Ghosting, Rachel, I think she's here. Maybe she broke off from the previous space, but I think she'll come back pretty quickly. That's a savings game for people who can keep deposit for a few weeks, and whoever forgets to deposit will lose out their interest to those who remembers. So that's a friendly competition for friends. What else? Augur. It's the OG prediction market back in 2015, and they've recently launched a Polygon version. What was the other one? Yeah, and also we have a few of the swaps that we've integrated earlier, like Sushi Swap and the from Matic. In short, after I posted all those bounties and the results starts to turn back, and I feel like can we turn this into something even bigger? Because those bounties and those apps are all based on Polygon, and they all fit the social finance theme, which we have been tackling along for quite some time. Back in early 2020, we started out. We started the road of like transitioning into from encrypted messages services only on those social networks to providing the decentralized app services, render them directly on top. That kind of road. And the first app was the Red Packet. I think we should also consider the Red Packet as our first step in the social finance route. Then later, half a year later, we integrated the Uniswap trading widget along with CoinGecko and CoinMarketCap as the data provider. That was one of our highlight moment in our course of company history. Later, another half year later, we started the ITO, initial Twitter offering, and another six months gone by, we have a bunch of social finance apps.
Yeah, and has Daniel today from DHedge, which is, for those who don't really know what's DHedge, is the decentralized eToro, probably the best way to describe. And we have Google's team as well. Hey, and I'd like to know what's your opinion of like Twitter degen, now decentralized eToroing, aping your protocol. What's your thought? The social fi thing, yeah. And say hi to your community as well. Hey, Daniel.
For sure. Hi, everyone. It's awesome to be here. Thanks the Epic Mask crew to put this event. And yeah, I think that it's super exciting what we're seeing now with the kind of convergence of social and DeFi and DAOs and NFT. All of the lines are starting to be much more blurry and lead us to the fast track to the metaverse. And I think that so we've met actually already back in 2019 with Suji when you were doing the Red Packet first time later, the Chinese New Year. It was immediately clear that we're going to experience very different kind of Web3. At the time, Web3 was still very clunky, but then like with tools like Mask, we are able to hijack the distribution channels of Web2 and really kind of fast track the transition to very powerful experiences, social experiences. That at the time it was very novel. With DHedge, so a lot of the interactions that people had in the like since the early days, late last year with DHedge, it's very often very social in nature because people are coming to invest non-custodially into hedge funds. So you basically have someone setting up a hedge fund, they have a different strategy. And then if I want to invest in someone, I would naturally want to trust, right? The way to trust in a kind of trustless world, much of it is very social. I see that someone is verified on Twitter, they're posting regularly about their activity, their views on the market, or their views on certain projects or coins they're investing in. And over time, I can kind of build this bond, whether it's directly by interacting on Twitter or whatever. And we saw how DHedge was very much a social application from the get-go, very much a social finance. And then it made so much sense that instead of just having to have completely two separate places where you're interacting, either Twitter or DHedge, with Mask, it's beautiful to see how now when I'm using Mask all the time, I'm basically able to already, whether it's if I'm seeing a pool from DHedge or if I'm seeing some NFTs from OpenSea, I can directly like click and get there and invest and buy and be a degen ape. So I think that, yeah, just generally speaking, these social fi framework, these social fi integrations, it's I've seen the tweet just earlier today that Ethereum has completely perverted art and completely perverted finance, and we're really just barely getting started. So I'm really excited, and I'm super happy that we've had that chance to work on co-sponsor some bounties with DHedge and Musk, and looking forward to continue that work.
Yeah, and I feel like, a lot of ENS will be super expensive because, like, money diamond handle ETH. And once I have that on Twitter, and I can be a hedge fund manager very easily. And for the DHT collaboration, we have Real Satoshi and Bankless. Real Satoshi is a famous Chinese degen community, and they're doing great on education, educating the investor and newbies. Bankless is famous for its Bankless podcast and Bankless style. They are just, promoting and probably going to set up their DHedge strategy on Twitter as well. So you can just probably later on follow them and just invest. And thanks, Daniel. And yeah, I hope I can just probably put all my money on Twitter, my best Twitter friends. So
For sure.
yeah. And Google Ghosting. Hey, Daniel, probably want to introduce a little bit about Google Ghosting and let us know. Is the team here as well? Or
I think Rachel still hasn't responded yet. She got broke off from the previous Twitter space and hasn't joined yet.
okay, so hope she can join before we end. So Google Ghosting is a really cool saving game. It's a DeFi saving game. You have to save to not, to earn the money. I mean, those who forgot to save during the saving game competition will actually probably, not able to earn the game, sorry, the money. And I will let Taylor introduce it, probably in 1 or 2 minutes, and let's wait for Rachel. If she's not back, we can probably let her have more time next town hall, or we're probably gonna have another Twitter space. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So let me take on that a little bit more. So as I mentioned, the saving game. So in a certain Google Steam saving pool, you have to deposit for a few weeks straight. Say the current one we are having the Musk and the Google Steam co-sponsoring the this game, we need the participants needs to deposit three weeks straight for $20 each, and by the end of the fourth week, they are going to get at least I think $10 back. And but if you forgot to save for a given week, you are losing out your reward to whoever remembers. I think we are into the second last day of the first round of the current game, and I think the upper limit is 500 spots, and we've already hit 450. So I guess the stats speaks for itself. It's been doing pretty well, and it has bring a lot of new users into the Mask ecosystem. So previously we do have quite a lot of users using Mask daily, but due to the congestion with Ethereum network, people are in general not using the Ethereum transaction functions. But with the social fencing going on, the cost has dropped a lot to almost negligible level, thanks to Polygon network, and we are seeing a lot more transactions on top of Mask.
So a lot of people are actually asking a statistic about the social fi, and like there's other campaign will launch very soon, and we see the had like quick swap and everything as well. And for good ghosting, what's the total transaction number in just like less than a week? 2,000 or like Taylor?
Oh, yeah, Rachel was just messaging me. I sent her the new link, but she says it suggests that it's ended. So I don't know what's going on. But I guess I have to take this on. Yeah, but well, in terms of the number of people joined, it's 450, and if they have to, they all complete the game. I guess the transaction count will go to upwards of 1,000.
Yeah, and that's actually pretty amazing number, because I think even right now the daily active trading, daily active user who are actually on chain doing something with the Uniswap is only 4K or 5K, and there's like 1,000 level transaction for a saving game. Amazing. And I think we're gonna probably see better results for D-Hedge and other like more interesting thing, or like other further campaign. Yeah. Okay, let's wait for Rachel for 1 minute. Hopefully she can join and share her story.
Yeah, let me try to send her the link again. One thing I do want to mention about ghosting and Rachel is that she wrote a piece on social and finance, social and DeFi, and that was on Hacker Noon. The article was quite well received by the community. And if she can show up, I guess we'll let her talk more about the project, the article, and everything around it. Looks like no good. So I guess we'll probably have to move on from here. We were thinking about. Well, okay. We'll let Frank take over for hosting this event.
Let's head to the Q&A. Probably our audience have question for the SocialFi and Gitcoin, or like ENS as well, RS3 as well. And for Rachel, let's definitely schedule, make her our next guest. And okay, Frank is jammed by the by the Twitter space broken thing. Okay, I will just start the question list. 1 second. And okay, whoever have questions, please raise your hand. We're gonna take 1 or 2, probably more question in the audience as well. And if you take a look at your right, corner of the Twitter, there's a wave hand or raise hand functionality. You can raise hand there. All right. So for the questions, let me take a look. Q&A. I think we've answered most of the pre-asked Q&A. Anyone here would like to ask questions? Yeah.
Yeah, you guys just feel free to ask your questions in our Telegram groups, or our Discord groups, or even our WeChat groups, please. We'll check them.
And happy to answer any of your questions as well, or probably raise your hand if you want to ask our
Oh, right,
guests as well.
right,
Yeah.
definitely. If you want to ask, just raise your hand, and we will invite you to speak. And then, just a reminder that we are definitely gonna release an article covering our town hall. So if you like missed the first part of this, don't worry, we will release an article on that. Yeah, just as our
Yeah, and also if you want to ask questions in other language like Chinese, Japanese, no worry. I mean, just raise your hand.
feel free, yeah.
Yeah, or post that in the group. No worry. Yeah.
I guess we can wait until like maybe in 5 minutes. If no one is asking, we will probably just close this on town hall for this month. So yeah, what about RSS3? Do you guys want to talk more about yourself or your vision to cooperate with us at all?
Yeah, we got some news, like some exciting news to everyone else. Well, as usual, we will be on Gitcoin's GR11 at September, so feel free to support us and spread the word. And we also recently releasing our RSS fruit token. That is like a non-fungible token with only currently at this stage only issued to the people who had got significant support to RSS3 and the whole ecosystem. So you can check it out those details on our website. Yeah, pretty much. As far as I know, the Sujian is already got one of those. That shows the thanks for the supporting at the early stage. Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, welcome any
You should-
question.
You should definitely connect with Scott here if you want to. Well, yeah, you guys should definitely connect.
Scott is from Gitcoin. Yeah. Hi, Scott.
Hey, yeah,
Yeah,
definitely down to connect.
it's pretty awesome, that whole Gitcoin idea, and we're already applying for the kernel.
Oh, wow.
Awesome.
Okay,
So basically,
I mean,
Kernel-
hope RSS3 can grow larger and then donate back to Gitcoin.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. I mean, like to see projects go through that process, that cycle, and like we've seen actually some projects kind of kernel and donate back as well recently. We're talking with EPNS notification service as well. That's really cool. But Block 4 is like in terms of the growth, like I think what is this? Maybe 4,000 now. And number, but
GR10 that invited us. Applied for it. Yeah.
Minion from the female from our Japanese community. If feel free, they know you probably have more questions. Yeah. If we got questions, feel free to post group, our community group. That the community. Yeah.
Today, because yeah, I mean, we have basically answered all the questions we are doing right now. So yeah, I mean, once you have them, anytime on social media.
It's popular in Japan.
You have promoted for like she like it. It's not my expectation. Yeah.
No, I was just intrigued by looking at the podcast number.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So I guess we're gonna wrap up this town hall, and this is our third town hall, right? And we're gonna definitely have more town hall every month. And I think this is just very beginning of the mass DAO and the mass token, but it's not. It's being sweet for the project, right? And I think it's gonna be another make it definitely something. In my opinion, probably much more larger than Twitter today, right? And yeah, let's wrap it today. And feel free to ask your social channel and or open and also add them on Twitter as well. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you
so much for coming today, guys. Scott, Daniel, and the Makoto, and it's gonna be amazing. Trust me. We'll see you guys in September.
あれ消えた。
什么的，反正可以跨链的。
OK， 没问题，我知道了。我这种我们肯定会考虑的，对吧？尤其是比如说，社区对我们一些这种想法、一些意见的话，我们都是愿意采纳接纳的。所以放心，我们肯定会有后续跟你们有这个这个一些怎么说呢？一些回应吧。如果你有没有什么其他的一些想法、一些问题
？2.0时间决定好了吗？
时间决定好了吗？刚其实我在那个说了，我们大概现在计划在8月中吧。早的话不大可行，因为其实我在一开始的时候我介绍了一下我们的这个一系列的最近做的一些这个我思考一下，我们做了一系列还稍微有一点复杂的一些功能所以可能会需要花一些时间，所以我们可能会分批的会放出来一些功能出来。然后刚刚在那个汤浩那个我看一下汤浩的那个 channel 里面，我们其实发了个链接，然后我来艾特一下你，艾特3根， 对，这个的话，你就可以来这个注册一下我们的这个这个2.0的 test 了。我们之后会给你们发包什么之类的。
好，就填表是吧？
对对对，填个表就行了。对，然后还有什么？就是那我继续说下去吧。那我们还说了什么？我们我也有点长，因为我们开了1个多小时，我也不记得，我甚至2个小时，1个半小时。所以我们之后会发文章的。如果你不介意的话，我推荐你其实可以之后看文章。但主要的话，其实还是讲了一些我们最近的一些，我介绍1.0动向，然后苏基介绍一些我们的算是 marketing 的一些方面吧。我们之后肯定会有相应的那个文章出来的。所以你之后可以直接看我们的那个文章，其实会更加清楚一些。然后，如果你现在有别的问题，我其实更希望能够给你回答问题。
我一时没想好太多问题，那你聊点其他的，觉得你们现在市场怎么样啊？就关于那个价格的方面的话，
这个比较敏感吧？这个
你们的保护位是多少呀？
这个别吧，这个别这样，我们聊点别的好了。聊点别的。
就我一个人问啊，大家一起来嘛。
其实很多人刚上过麦，不过好像都不知道都有问题吧？可能就是
有一个那个接受邀请，如果顶部弹出来的，他们可能不知道在哪里点接受。
OK。就是我希望就是这样啊，就是大家如果对我们有任何问题或者有任何想法的话，我现在比较期待，就是或者说我比较想回答，其实就是首先你们想在 Mask 里面看到什么样的功能，其次是你们对现有功能有没有什么不满意，或者说有什么想改进的地方，第三就是我们今年可能会在之后吧，可能我也不确定，可能秋天我们可能会做一次这个黑客松，就一次 hackathon。然后在 hackathon 里面，我们可能这个也想要吸引更多开发者来嘛，所以我们也需要一些这种想法，就是比如说能在 Mask 上能干什么事情的想法。所以如果你们现在有些这种想让我们做的，或者想让 Mask 拥有的，其实都可以在现在来跟我们说。然后那个 David Ho，I just invited you。然后
Hi, so Ching Chong theme song, fuck your mother and her thong.
OK，anyways，靠，怎么大家都这么好笑？对，反正如果就是大家没有什么别的问题，我大概就说一下，就是你们可以在我们任何的这个社交媒体上面跟我们来写一些你们的想法啊，因为我们可能未来我们整个团队可能会做的这个插件不会特别的，就是我们现在还在做新的插件，但这些插件只是为了 showcase， 只是为了让大家知道 Mask 可能能做什么。然后更多的我们还是希望能发挥一下大家想象力，就像刚刚三根说的一样，对吧？那他可以提出一些想法，可以在我们 Mask 里集成。那我们在未来我们会首先我们可能会在各个 hackathon 我们可能都会捐一些款，然后让这些黑客松的这些开发者算有奖金嘛，让这些开发者吸引他们进来给我们做开发。其次呢就是我们会办自己的这个一系列的活动，然后让这些功能这个实现出来所以说你们如果有任何的这些想法，请你们抛在我们的这些social media， 或者说这些什么 Discord 或 Telegram 或 WeChat 里面，然后或者是我们的论坛里面，可以让我们都知道，好吧？除此之外的话，我觉得我好像也没什么要说的了所以要么如果真的没别人或者没有任何别的，我就撤了，挺久的了，挺饿的。
好吧。最后一个问题就是那个委员会有延期吗？因为这个月没什么事情做的。
我感觉也是。哎，三水在不在？三水和 Taylor， 嘿 ，Taylor 张，你在不在？要不要回答一下这个问题啊？我不在啊，我不在委员会里面，我也不确定啊。但我觉得如果这周我不确定，这个可能得问一下三水，或者说因为我没有管这个。嘿 Taylor， 你要不让 Taylor 来回答这个问题吧？
你这两个三水，我之前
三水三水说晚点会告诉大家的。
OK，
他的那个现在打字说的。行吧。
哦，
那我
没什么问题啊，你去吃饭吧。
好，谢谢啊，谢谢。哎，我就还有人要这个举手了，就上来。Hey Genesis.
Yeah.
Vlog. Hey, do you have any questions? We're accepting questions.
Okay. So, do you guys know what Rahamala is?
Rahamala?
Yeah.
Rahamala? No, sorry.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
No problem. See you, man.
See you.
Sorry. Yeah. Have a good one. Bye. Rahamala 呢？好，那大家就先这样吧。我们今天撤了。
拜拜。
拜拜。